Hello, it's John from Bright Wargaming and welcome to my next video looking at miniature painting basics, and today we're going to be painting up some flames. So painting flames is almost the complete opposite of how you would paint a normal miniature. So if you look at the guy who's firing the flamethrower on the left, you can see that all the dark colours are in all of the crevices. So if you look at his armpits, in between his legs and round the back of him. But if you look on all the upwards facing elements, so out of the crevices, then you can see it's all lighter because it's reflecting the sun. So if you look at the flames, you can see it's almost the complete opposite, with the light coming from the inside and it gets darker with as you go to the outside, so like all the smoke and what have you. So the colours we're going to use today are a range going from very light yellow all the way through to very dark red, and of course on top of that we'll be using some white and either some very dark grey or black right at the beginning and end of the process. So to start off, I've painted the whole of the area that I'm going to be making into flames in white. Now on top of the white, I'm now starting with a really watery mixture, and I'm starting with the light colours. I'm just working my way around, going from the lightest bit, so where it's hottest, and as I get further down the flames, it's going to be getting colder because it's away from the source, and I'm going to be putting in some darker colours. So this is me just getting to the end of my first yellow, and now moving on to the slightly darker yellow, where you can see that I'm just sort of, as we go through, just putting it further down. And again, because I'm using really wet paints and I'm doing it all one straight after the other, then the great thing is that sorts all your blending for you with the paint doing the work. So don't worry if you don't get a super smooth blend with this, because what we're going to be doing is, in the next stage, we're going to be doing some dry brushing over the top that'll take out quite a lot of the colour that's over the top, and actually this colour is only going to be showing right down in the recesses. So you can see that's the orange now all complete, and we're onto this onto a red. Right, so that's this phase complete, and we're going to moving on to a couple of stills where you can see how essentially because the wet paints are wet, they've done a large amount of the blending for us. So that's one side, and then into the other. Now for the next stage, we're going to be doing some dry brushing. So again, I think what we're going to do is start at the hot end, so nearest the flying lady, and we're going to be starting with a little bit of orange dry brushing over the yellows, and then we're going to be moving into that somber grey, where we're going to be going over the bottom end of the yellows and into the orange, and then moving down to a black to get something really sooty right down at the bottom, and on essentially any of the bits that are red, so sticking up and where they're sort of thin and away from the heat, and they're cooling really quickly. So at this stage I decided that the sombre grey was just a little bit too cold, so I went back in with some Rhinox hide, which is sort of really dark brown, and that really started to pick up the effect I was trying to achieve. And for me, that's pretty much the flames about finished there. But the last thing I did was just to add a very quick additional dry brush of wolf grey just over the top of the blacks, just to make the blacks just a little bit more sooty, just on the real extreme parts. And you can see that there in these stills. So I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. So these of course are just the techniques to do a very, very basic flame that is effective at tabletop level. Of course, if you want to get into much more complicated, much more sort of technique intensive ways of doing flames, there are lots of other videos out there, but this is absolutely painting flames for noobs. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave comments and give me a thumbs up. In the meantime, take care. Have a good one. Bye.